I think we all should thank Pat and Evitz Haley for keeping this running and for us all to get together and see this many cow-cultured people and cow people together. You know, they're my favorite kind of people. I'm not like that woman that was from New York, and her and the daughter was traveling on a train back in the old days, and they stopped at a cow town where the several herds that came in, and they were loading them out, and the woman was off watching them and her little girl, and she explained to her all about the grass and the cattle. And so directly the little girl watched them and turned to her mother and said, "Mother, did the cowboys eat grass too?" She said, "Why, no, child, they're part human." But, you know, when I went to work for Proctor's, I think one of the best things about Foy, he got the best performance out of men and horses of anybody I was ever around. And I believe he could just instill confidence in people. And they did their best. And, you know, I remember one time they had bought some mares before I came there, I think from Billy Sparks, I believe. It was up north of Midland. And they were up in that old big sand country and pretty spoiled mares. And they had weaned off some colts. And when they became twos, they started to gather them to break, and there was about 5 or 6 of them ran over a fence and got away, and they had made a run or two at them and couldn't get them. And one time Foy said, "Well, we'll go by there this afternoon if we finish up in time." And if I remember right, they were running in some pretty open country out east and south of the old not the Y song, but the there was another house down there south of Driver's, it's south of Driver House anyway. And the rest of us kind of circled them and kept them up on a high open country. And Foy was riding a big bay horse that was a tall wood, and he'd go through those colts, there was about 5 of them, and he'd rope the lead colt, and somebody'd come take him, and we'd circle him, and he'd go through there and rope the lead one. And the last one he roped, well, I'd got excited about all that, you know, and all the cowboying going on. And I said, "Mr. Proctor, if you don't mind, I'll just put my saddle on him and ride him in." So I put my saddle on him, and he kind of helped, and they drove me into the driver camp on him. But that Foy could sure make a hand anywhere he was. And he always rode good horses. And I had a friend that interviewed him one time, and I told him what a good hand Foy was with horses and how impressed I was. And Foy could, when he headed a cow, his horses would slide to a stop and turn right over themselves and come back. And he asked Foy about it, and Foy said no. Said, at that time I had 500 horses that we were using, and said if I rode one and he wasn't a good cow horse, said I never did ride him again. But you know, that's the secret of a good horseman, is finding the good horses to ride and then using them right. And he was sure good at that.